Hello everyone, welcome to A Foreigner Farming in the Philippines. So I've begun the search for the Craylings. I'm going to begin in this tank here. I'm going to drain all of these tanks except for that very last one where the tilapia are, and in the search for Craylings. Now look, I've been mistaken about a great many things, but I will say that I don't think there's any or many in this first one, because it's just full of moss and that's what they eat. So I'm thinking if there's that much food in this tank that there's so much it even keeps plugging up the drain, it's going to make it double hard to not only see them when the water's drained, but to drain the water anyway. So I don't know, there's a lot of food in here, so I don't think that, I would have thought that if there were a bunch of Craylings in here, they would keep this moss eaten down. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but we will find out. I'm going to go through these one by one and see what we can find. Alright, so I just saw one. About the age of what it should be. He just poked his head out right there, walking around. So I'm guessing that there's Craylings in every one of these tanks that I had pregnant females in, and that somehow, I'm a newbie at raising these crayfish, and you can't clearly see around in these tanks. It's not like looking at the side of a glass aquarium. And these guys are tiny when they're newly hatched. Tiny. I don't know, maybe 1/3 the size of a housefly. I mean, they're just tiny. And I didn't see them. The females, I had thought that something was I had thought that the Craylings were hatching and something was eating them, because I didn't see them. And Wit and I had talked about it, and there is like a little, he had a name for it. It's like a little tiny water shrimp. And he asked me if I had those in these tanks, and I said yes. He had no magic suggestion to get rid of them. He said you just have to keep draining out the tanks to get rid of them. He said they would predate on the tiny little Craylings, and I had thought that's what was going on. There are none of those little shrimp things in that main tank over there where the adults are, because I think the adults eat them. So that's why I just moved everything into the main tank and just basically forgot about them. Just left them on their own. But as it turns out, they were hatching. They were in there. The females had hatched them. Those eggs that they were carrying had hatched, obviously. If there's a Crayling in this tank, and there was a Crayling in that tank back there, then that leads me to believe that there's probably Craylings in this tank, that tank, and that tank. That one never had a pregnant female in it, these last two here. But that's the only thing that I can guess. So we're gonna drain this and see if we can see how many are in here. So what I'm gonna do, look, I'm not gonna mess with the adults that are over there right now, because this is gonna take me too long today. What I'm going to do is move all the Craylings, depending on how, I think this can support like 100. I could put like 100 of them in here. Whit and I have talked about that. So, depending on how many are in here and how many are in the other tanks, all of them are going to go in here. But if it turns out there's too many, then I'll have to dedicate like 2 of these tanks. Once I get all this done today, an inspection to see where I'm at, Then tomorrow, since it was effective, obviously, I just didn't notice. Then tomorrow I'll go through that tank again with the pregnant females. Well, I'll check to see if there's any pregnant females. If there are, I will once again move them into these little containment boxes that I got and do it all again. Now, if I've got these two, this one or maybe these two full of Craylings, then I won't be able to utilize more than 4 of them. We'll see. I don't know. I can see him clearly. There's one right there that's messing around in the moss. I don't know how well you guys can see him. He's probably trying to hide. See if I can just hand catch this little guy, or at least get him out where you can see him. There he is. Way too quick for me by hand. There's a lot of them in here. And you can see those right there moving around. All this, there's one that just surfaced right there. There's one wandering around right there. There's a lot in here. A lot of them. I just would like to know, I'd like a better idea of just how many there are. So I can shoot, there's like a half a dozen right here. I'm going to be real careful that they're not in this moss that's hanging on to the King Kong here. I'd like an idea of how many are in here so I don't put more in and make it overcrowded. As you can see, there's just a bunch of them. And I don't think like more than 100 would be wise. Come here, little buddy. I just want you to come up here so everybody can see you. I mean, I can only, so I don't know, that's going to be the hard part. There's so much food in here for them. That's why I didn't think there were many in here. But obviously, that's what I get for thinking. So how do I get some sort of a count? I think that's going to be the hard part. And I'm pretty sure there's probably a bunch underneath this as well. Let me just set this out for a minute. That guy right there, those two, right, shoot, they're just everywhere. So I'm going to get back outside. I'm going to let this drain for another 10 or 15 minutes and then try to get a close estimation of how many are in here. Okay, so we can get an accurate count. Marcel is going to go through this moss. Just shake it in the water, love. And yeah. Marcel's going to remove this moss so we can find the crayfish, so we can get an accurate count on how many are in here.
They're stuck.
There's so much of that moss that they get stuck in it. And we can't count them because they're hiding. So we're going to try to get a count here shortly. Alright, so we went ahead and cleared all this out. We cleared the moss and the King Kong out, and we're going to count them. We have, let's see, I get this in the sunlight. There is, I don't know, I'm guessing 50 to 100, maybe more, I don't know. We're going to count them because there's some in there, and then there's more in this big bucket as well. So we're going to start counting them and putting them back. Might want to use the net, love. You're just going to dump them in and count them? We'll take it to the other end.
Right here?
Yeah. Just very slowly.
Yeah. Wow, you're free now. Wow, they're running now.
How many?
6, 8, 11. Okay, you bite me. 15. 18. 18. Ah! 20.
I'm biting you now?
Yeah.
I don't like you.
21.
And we know this bitch. She caught us a little while ago.
22. Some is very nice. 24. 26. They're very happy now. I'm happy. 29. 31. 36. 37, 40. Maybe 60 that they were 70. 44. 47. 50. 53. Plus 56. 59. Wala, this is 60, 61, 62, 63. 67. 68, 69, 70, 71.
I know.
72, 73, 74, 75, 76. 77. 78, 79, 80. Come on. 82. Aray! Last na gani! 84. Aray! 85. 85 daddy.
85 at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Ay, napa isa. 86.
just gonna dump the last one in there.
Yeah.
86. All right, let's count what's in this tub here. And this has most of their food left in it, so this is going to be interesting to try to get them all out of here.
Oh!
We were at 86. There's 2 more. That's 88. I know there were a lot left in here. They're back into the moss. So I'm going to have to do this with both hands, it looks like. Alright, so we ended up with exactly 100.
Yeah.
An easy number to remember. And the last one we found was right there next to my foot. And I'm doing a real close inspection of all this down and through here to make sure there's not any more, because they hide and move. I don't see any. So, look, I think the thing to do, love, well, first thing, we need to turn that pump back on so that this fills. Turn that pump on for like 5 minutes. So, I'm going to partially drain this, and if any come out of the drain here, then I know it's probably got 100 in it too. And we're not, what do you think, love? We don't just leave it? If we find a couple in any of these other tanks, just leave them?
Yeah.
Rather than go through all of it, counting them all?
We can count also.
Okay, well. All right. So we know there's 100 in here, so on to the next tank. Okay, so I've gotten 4 out of here so far. I've just been pulling the moss here from the corner. This tank has tilapia in it also. Yeah, there's one you can see out in the open there. This tank has tilapia also, small ones that have migrated upstream. So they're bigger now. They're so big now they can't get through those 1/2-inch pipes. So they came upstream when they were tiny, because they have to get through these 1/2-inch pipes to go upstream.
Oh, we cut the pipe.
That 1 inch?
No, 1 inch.
I think the 1 inch is, well, it doesn't matter now. For these tanks, they...
3/4?
It's 3/4 maybe.
Yeah.
So I'm going to finish draining this, and then we'll go through the moss. Marcel's on a phone call right now, so she's not helping, and I'm not getting in there. So we'll just let it drain while we're waiting on Marcel. All right, so we've got 44 in there, and there's more in here, so I'll have Tatai put this 44 back. I'll just dump them in here. Well, put them on that end, Tatai, so you don't step on them. And I've got to carefully get these out of here and then do a ground inspection for any that might have washed out of this. Okay, so we're finished with this one. There was 48. So not quite the 100 that was in this one, but 48 more than I thought we had yesterday. So it's 148 Craylings so far. Tatai has begun the drain on that tank, and we'll see what's in there. Alright, so that's the main breeding tank there. That's the tank that had 100. This one had 48. And this one here, you can see they're crawling around in it. We're draining it. You can see them all over in here. So we're going to start catching them, and we'll give you a count on this one. Okay, not so many in this one. There was 24 all in this one here. But that's 20 more than there were before. We had before. So there's 24 in that tank, and then I'm going to put 20. I don't know. You know what I'm going to do? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these 24 and I'm going to put them in there, since there's only 48 in there, and save this for a breeding tank. When I go through the females and check them tomorrow, I can put one in here. So that'll be the plan. So what did I say, Tatai? 24? Alright, and there's 48 in here, so that's 68, 72. All right. 172 in this, 72 in this one. 172 all, not counting those. Put them in that last tank that I. I can tell by looking in this one there's not going to be that many because there's almost no Lamont, huh, Tata? There's no food for them. But there are some, and they're the largest ones so far. I think these, because I haven't been feeding these, look, I think they've been doing so well in these other tanks here because there was a lot of Lamont, a lot of moss. And this tank and this tank, not so much. Almost zero compared to the others. So there's just no food for them. Well, there's not food for a lot of them. There's probably just as many hatched in this as any of the rest. But I think they probably just cannibalized each other because there was no food. Alright, so there was only 11 in that tank, but these are, I'm kind of even worried about putting these in with these here. There's a couple of them that are really big, like this one right here. I don't know. I think it's okay. They're not like twice the size of any of the others, so. They were getting a bit overcrowded. I don't know if you can tell that red one only has one claw. So they were fighting and competing for food. There's a few in there. There's another one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to put them in with these because I think they're of equal enough size. So there's 78 and 11 is 89. So there's 89 in this tank. So 100 in this one and 89 in this one.
This one nothing.
Nothing in that one?
Yeah.
I thought you said one came out.
One, no.
One came out the drain, that's all?
Yeah.
Again, no Lamont in this tank to speak of. One only?
No, even one.
Not even one? Not even one out the drain?
Yeah.
No, okay. Alright, well, I guess that's going to do it. Well, at least we got all these drained. I'm going to, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain that first big long tank, and I'm going to transfer all the Lamont that's in that big tank into these two. Oh, one more. So 78 and 12 is 90. There you go. So there's 90 in that. Another? All right, it's a 91. Alright, so I think that's going to do it. Overall, I'm really pleased. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to drain that first tank and make sure that the tilapia aren't coming from that tank. There might be tilapia in that, who knows. That tank hasn't been drained for a year anyway. So if there's moss in it, and I think there is, I'm going to transfer that moss into these two tanks. Well, actually this one needs some also because it doesn't have a lot. But these two here have almost zero. And they're going to get a supply. Alright, so
You have one here.
one there? Alright. So 191 plus the 24 that are in here, 191, 201, 211, 215. So somehow we ended up with 215 Craylings. I'm pretty damn amazed when I thought I had zero and some kind of an unsolvable problem here. I'm happy. So tomorrow I guess I'm gonna drain this first main tank, clean it out, and get the moss out of it and transfer it. That sounds like a plan to me. Thank you everyone. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.